Blog Talk Radio.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you may be listening to us from across the globe. Welcome to another episode of The Doctors Are In here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. This is Dax Carlisle. I'm a tarot advisor and life coach coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. And joining me as always is my fabulous co-host, spiritual teacher and certified life coach, Dr. Rose Wilkerson, coming to us live from Berkeley, California. Let's bring Rose on. Happy Friday, Rose.
Hey, happy Friday to everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm so excited about today's topic because guess what? I get to give it. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm excited too because it's part two. If you missed part one of Transform Your Life with Magickal Angel Sigils, you can go back in the archive and listen to it right after the show. Just go to psychictalk.net. Click on archive or just type in psychictalk.net/archive. That'll take you right over there. And look for part one. Be sure to listen to that. And as always, of course, we're a live call-in show, so we're going to have open lines. We're going to have free life coaching and tarot mini readings during the show as well. Let me give out the phone number. It's 714-816-4628 if you want to call in and talk to Dr. Rose and me. When you get through on the switchboard there, as soon as you get through, remember to press 1 on your dial pad. What that does is it puts you into the caller queue so we know you want to be live on air with us. If you don't press 1, we just assume you're listening to the show. And that's fine too. That's another way you can listen to the show. Just dial in, don't press 1. You can listen on your phone. But if you want to chat with us, be sure to press number 1. If you're Skyping in, you have to go to your There you go. So it's 714-816-4628 to join us. You can also join us on the chat post at psychictalk.net/chat. That's right. We have a post set up for each show on our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group, and we use the comments below the post, on the post, as our chat room. You can discuss the show, discuss the topic, chat with other listeners, chat with us. You can even ask for a mini reading and life coaching right from the chat post. So once again, that's psychictalk.net/chat. Of course, it's always much more fun to chat with you live on air. So dial in at 714-816-4628. Today's show is sponsored by the Tarot Guild, the international organization for tarot lovers, students, and professional readers. Since 2004, we're located on the web at thetarotguild.com. Make sure you get the in there. thetarotguild.com. And let's see. What did I want to mention? So I got some combo deals going for you if you're a professional reader and you want to get your certification and your professional membership at the Guild. If you go over to thetarotguild.com, you're going to see a banner that says combo deals. Just click on that. And we're giving 10% off when you package those two things together, the professional membership and the CTR Certified Tarot Reader certification. Normally, you get a discount on the certification when you become a member. And when you buy them separately, I think it comes out to $86 and something. But we're doing it for $78, the number of cards in the tarot deck. And also, if you're new to tarot and you want to take a tarot and numerology course, we've got a great one for you. It's called Tarot by the Numbers. And you can enroll in the course, and you're going to get your professional membership and your certification included in that package combo. it would be, I think separately it comes out, even with the discounts, because you get a 50% discount on the course and a 40% discount on certification when you join as a professional member. But all three of those added up together, I think comes out to $136 or something. We're doing it for $99.97 right now, so you get 27% off. So just look for that big banner that says combo deals when you go over to thetarotguild.com. So, Rose, do you want to, I was thinking, do you want to hit the highlights of part one, tell folks what we're talking about with Magic, Angel, Sigils, and then head into two for today's show?
Yeah, no problem. So I planned to do it exactly. So part one, 2 weeks ago, I talked about the, how do you transform your life with magical angel sigils? And basically what I talked about is, how you can utilize the angels to help you accomplish your goals. We had a conversation about that. I talked about what the angels are, the like radio waves, the frequency. You can tune into that angel and contact them and have them help you with whatever's happening in your life, right? But you don't have to sit and suffer any problem or dysfunction that you have in any area of your life. You can actually invoke angels, call upon angels to be able to help you. And then I also talked about, how do you, like I said before, how do you utilize the angels to accomplish your goals? If you have a lengthy goal, a goal that has smaller goals that you have to accomplish, you can call, there are angels that can help you with that process. And then I believe I talked about the sigils, if I remember correctly, Dax. I don't know if I remember talking about that. But the information that I got this from, and I even have had my own experiences, which I'll share in this episode, part two, the book, if you look up the book, the 72 Angels of Power, that's the main title, and it goes on, the rest of the title is Amazingly Simple Magic to Fix Your Life Fast and Breakthrough to Freedom. This is written by Tristan Whitespire. And he has 3 books out. So today what I'm going to do is talk about another book that he has that's called The 84 Genies of Power. And it's actually a really fascinating book in many ways. So I'll talk about that. So hold on, I'm sorry. I was looking for the full title. It's called The 84 Genies of Power, Simple Secrets to Unleash the Miraculous Power of the Soul for Love, Money, and Power. Okay? So, and just to let you guys know, this is something that I've actually used myself, and it actually works. So I'm not just talking about a book out there somewhere, but I like to, when I do talk about spiritual teachings and practices, I usually like to have some kind of experience with it myself. So today I'm talking about the 84 Genies of Power. This is also written by Tristan Whitespire. I highly recommend this text as well. This was the first text that I actually bought of Mr. Whitespire. And what I'm going to focus on is what are these genies that he's referring to? Is this the kind of genie, that you rub a lamp and out pops a spirit, says, oh, I'll give you 3 wishes? Yeah, no. So it's not that kind of genie. I'm not sure why he uses the term genie, but, basically the genies are pretty much, they're kind of like angelic powers in a way. But these are genies that actually exist within you, within your soul. And I'm going to talk about the origin of these genies in this text, and then talk more deeply about, I'll just talk about the origins of it, and then I'll talk about the method, the ritual method that is used to call upon these angels. Okay? It's a very simple process, only like 7 or 8 steps. And then I'll tell you about my experiences so that you guys can understand more. All right, so actually, the 84 genies of power, according to Whitespire, comes from the story of Hercules and the journey of the soul. So some of this I'm going to read, so hopefully I won't make it sound boring, but I'll try to add some inflections in my voice and whatnot, so it's interesting. So this comes from the Greek story about Heracles, or Hercules as we know it. And Heracles, that name means the glory of Hera. So Hercules or Heracles can also be translated as the glory of the soul. And this is what Whitespire says, that he discovered that Hera, the word Hera of Heracles, represents the soul. In the traditional myth, Hera, who was known as the queen of the gods, decided to make trouble for Hercules. Hercules represents the human soul. And she did this by causing him to become temporarily insane. And in his insanity, he commits the crime of killing his wife and children. As punishment for his crime, he is kicked out of heaven and is sentenced to spend 12 years on earth, and while there, to be subject to the will of, and I think it's pronounced Eurystheus, who signifies the ruler of the material world. The ruler of the material world tells Hercules, or Heracles, the human soul, that he has to complete 12 tests or labors, which means traveling through the 12 signs of the zodiac. I know a lot of times when people think of zodiac, they just think of the planets and the, when you were born and where the moon was placed. And obviously that is a part of the zodiac, but there's also an additional meaning that the story is bringing. So that's just my little side note, and I will continue on. So he has to complete these 12 tests while traveling through each sign of the zodiac. And what it represents is the soul's journey, the soul's evolution as it travels through the signs of the zodiac. Hercules is told that if he succeeds, he will become an immortal, which means a highly evolved, perfected soul. This story has strong similarities to the story of Adam and Eve being kicked from the Garden of Eden. So while I'm talking about this, guys, I want you to think about, basically this is, the information here is based on the fact that we are divine beings having an earth-like experience, a material world experience, okay? And so it's very similar. Adam and Eve, they were kind of, was it in the heavenly realm, and something happened and they had to be kicked out and out to earth. Same thing with Hercules, he was kind of kicked out of his realm to endure these different trials, to become a perfected being. So, moving on with the story. The story goes that Hercules endures 12 tasks or labors that are meant to destroy him. As he passes through each of these 12 labors, he learns new lessons, gains new power, and evolves towards becoming a perfect immortal. This symbolizes the journey of the soul as it passes through each of the 12 signs of the zodiac. As the soul journeys, it learns the lessons of each sign and gains all the skills and abilities that each sign affords to it, and thus the soul evolves toward ultimate perfection and reunion with the source of this universe. So that's where the genies come from, okay? What Whitespire is saying, and you'll probably hear this in the as I continue to read along, is that these genies are within us. They are a part of our soul. Some people believe that we are here to learn different lessons, to have certain trials and tribulations, certain challenges or problems, to learn from that and evolve. And so this is the same thing. So these genies, they're like angels, right? It's not that much of a difference. They're not, just in some kind of heavenly realm and you have to pull them like, you use words to kind of put a lasso around them and pull them down to you. It's not like that. You already have these genies within you. So any problems that you're having in love, in prosperity, like getting jobs or more income, with health, part of the reason why, if you believe that there's a spiritual reason to the problems that you're having, the spiritual reason is that that genie in your soul has not awakened yet. It's not active in a sense. You haven't hit that frequency. So that's where this book comes into waking those genies up so that you can experience success in these different areas of your life. So moving on. Where do the 84 genies factor into all of this? This is what Tristan writes. So 7, and Dax, you know more about numerology than I do, so I'm just reading this, but you can chime in if you want to here. 7
Sure.
is the number of thanks. 7 is the number of completion and perfection. There are 7 days of the week, 7 major planets, 7 major chakras within the human body. These all correspond with the 7 genies in each of the 12 of the zodiac. All 7 aspects of your soul, which are represented by the 7 chakras, for example, must pass through each of the 12 zodiac signs. As these 7 aspects of your soul pass through the signs, they each learn their own unique lesson and develop their own unique gifts and powers that the cosmic energies present within that zodiac sign gives to them. When all 7 aspects of your soul travel through all 12 signs of the zodiac and learns all of the lessons, we become a perfected soul, an immortal master of light. These 7 genies each represent the powers and lessons of the soul in each sign of the zodiac. Okay, so that's where the 84 genies come from. And then Tristan goes on to say, or Mr. Whitespire rather, the beauty of this is that even without passing through the 12 signs and having to struggle to master each of them, we are still able to tap into and access all 84 powers of the perfected soul through genies. And by working with these genies, we naturally can learn the lessons each of them has to offer and thus evolve towards perfection, even as we fulfill our will and our desires on earth. So through this particular magic that Whitespire presents in the 84 Genies of Power, that text, you gain access to the powers of wealth, love, knowledge, discernment, power, and many other gifts and powers of the soul. He says, we are like Hercules, both human and divine in nature. Hercules means glory of the soul, and that glory spoken of is the light and power that these genies embody. This is why they're called personified virtues. These genies are the light, radiance, virtue, and glory of the soul in embodiment. They are sparkling crystals of light of inestimable value. Hopefully I said that correctly. And then as you perform this magic, which is basically angel sigil magic, you're fulfilling the purpose of every soul in this human life. This purpose is growth and evolution. And ultimately, it is the growth and evolution of the soul that is the true goal and purpose of all magic. And so that's the description that he has about the genies. This is really quite beautiful if you think about it, Dax. I mean, I don't know if you have any additional thoughts about what I just read. It's wonderful, and it really kind of humanizes a lot and kind of explains, in a sense, if you believe in this story and this is something that you feel, I don't know, attracted to or you think might be accurate on some spiritual level, that these are not genies that are outside of us. These are not, something that you have to, you have some magic word to bring into this realm, that these beings already exist within you. When I think of the word genies, I think of the word geniuses or intelligences. They're already there. It's just that if you're having problems in particular areas, they haven't been activated yet, And so what Whitespire's book allows to have happen is that you call upon these genies to awaken that part, those frequencies within you. A divine, we are, as I said, we are souls or spiritual beings having an earthly experience. And we're going through, many of us go through problems and challenges in different areas, and this kind of magic allows for you to be able to awaken, the genius, the intelligence, the frequency, the genie, the angel, in order to, succeed and grow. So,
I like the idea of traveling through the zodiac and acquiring, the powers and abilities of each sign. And it sort of reminds me of the various lessons you can learn that are given in the tarot cards. Like most people
the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, most people think of using the tarot for divination, predicting the future. I think the real power in tarot is creating your own future. And there are lessons in each card that gives you the individual aspects and tools that you need. And you can do meditations on each card. It's a very similar thing, The question I had was, I think I'm with you so far. Now, you got to remember, this is all new to me. Okay?
Yeah.
But, and maybe I missed it, maybe you already talked about this, but the sigils and describing what the sigils are, and, they're these drawn symbols, and where do they come in here, and how are they used in a magical process to manifest what you want?
Yes, actually that was the next step I was going to talk about. So in general,
I'm psychic.
Yeah. No, you're asking the right question right on time. So when we're talking about angel sigil magic, it's a visual type of magic. You don't need anything special, any candles or incenses. I mean, if you want to light a candle, and that's fine, but it's not required. This is really about a visual type of magic that you use. And the sigil, if you guys go to psychictalk.net/chat, you will see a post. It's in it takes you straight to our Facebook group, Psychic Talk Radio, and you'll see the post for the show. And I actually provided an example of another sigil. I did that for the other show, too, about 2 weeks ago. And so I've done another one for this one. And a lot of times these sigils can look different depending upon what people are using, because there are these ancient texts that occultists of old have read and interpreted and reinterpreted, and they find these, I'm sorry, my computer just went off. I think I stepped on the power cord and just blanked off for a second there. So I got to switch modes here and use my phone. But anyway, where was I? I was talking about the sigils often have either Hebrew lettering in it, or it has angelic script of some sort, and it usually represents, if you can think of it, I think I talked about this last time, the sigil is like a physical representation of the angel. Some of this, it comes from an ancient text, and then some people in reinterpreting what they're reading, and they try this out. Tristan Whitespire is one of a few authors that have written about angel sigil magic. Another one that I recommend, it's a set of books. Maybe it's a publisher, I'm not sure, but they're called The Gallery of Magic. Damon Brand is one who has written about this as well. And basically, let me see, I think the one that I had posted in our group has a circle around it of Hebrew lettering, and then there are other symbols that are in there. And what I was going to do was to provide for you of what that is. So in the angels, there are different angel sigils that are created, and sometimes you have like the names of protective spirits that are in there, and as well as the name of the particular angel that you're invoking, and that's also used to help make sure that this is safe and successful and not, just kind of, I guess unsafe or, that kind of thing. So those sigils are made with that in mind. But let me go ahead and read what Tristan has, or Whitespire has written for the 84 Genies of Power. So he says that Hebrew is a special language of great spiritual power, and simply by scanning your eyes over the Hebrew letters during the ritual, and I'll describe the ritual to you guys in just a moment. When you're just by scanning your eyes over the Hebrew letters during the ritual, you will be connecting on a soul level to ancient, powerful, divine forces of light to fulfill your will. So again, this is visual magic. The names of the 84 genies have also been converted into Hebrew writing to add to their potency and accessibility. Beneath the name of the genie in Hebrew, you will also find the name of each genie written in a special angelic script called Malachim, which adds additional potency to the magic. And he says that you don't need to be able to read or understand any of the words on the sigil. As long as you scan your eyes over the sigil, it will work. You will also see on the sigil some strange-looking lines and shapes within the bottom triangle. There's a triangle, that's some triangles on there, and the two stars on the right and left. These are the sigil of the genies drawn 3 times. This sigil aids you in connecting to the genie that you're calling on, and only needs to be scanned by your eyes in order for it to work. So that's basically what he provides. If you want a little bit more of a detailed description of the sigils that he uses, you can, even though these these angels come from a different source, I would recommend getting his 72 Angels of Power book, and also listen to our show from 2 weeks ago, because I talked a little bit about what those sigils are and what they look like and what it means. So let me scroll back up here. So hopefully that answers part of your question, Dax. Sigils, there are sigils that come from ancient texts. Sometimes they've been reworked in a way so to make them more effective or more successful when people are using them in visual magic and this kind of sigil magic. And then there are sigils that you can create on your own. That's a whole separate magic, and it doesn't necessarily involve Hebrew lettering unless you wanted to. But I just wanted to say that that's a whole separate thing. There are people, like I know there are Facebook groups where people create their own sigils, and that's a different thing. But these usually come from ancient texts, and sometimes they are reworked in a way. So even though when we're talking about the story of Hercules, and that's isn't that an ancient Greek story, Heracles or Hercules, that
right.
The names of those genies, those, the laborers, tasks that he had to go through, those names, he put those in a Hebrew script, and he added that to the sigil. Okay, so moving forward to the actual ritual method. And I have to say, this is really easy, guys. And you don't, and also don't worry about, because in as a part of this ritual, you'll be saying some words in the Hebrew language. You don't have to worry about it being perfected. You don't have to take a Hebrew language lesson. You just do the best that you can, okay? I always tell people, these, divine beings and whatnot, they understand, the language of the heart in a sense. Hebrew definitely has a magical component to it, but it's not about how perfectly you speak the words. It's really more about the connection. You do the best that you can, So the ritual method, this is a summary of the ritual method. It's about, I would say, 7 steps or so. So the first step is that you want to feel your feelings in the present moment regarding your desire. So if you are without, let's say, a relationship, we'll take love relationship as an example. You're looking for, your soulmate, a good significant other, someone you can share your life with. And so the first step is to bring up those emotions, those feelings about what it's like not to have that. Like, how do you feel about that situation? Emotions a lot are what drive, your connection, actually in any magic that I've seen, even with connecting to Vedic gods, it's always good to have that emotional content to it. But anyway, step 1, sense your feelings in the present moment regarding your desire. Okay, and that takes, maybe minutes. Sorry if you hear any dings in here or whatnot. My computer is turning back on, so you might hear something here or there. Step 2, you scan the outer circle of the Hebrew letters. And because Hebrew is written, I think you read Hebrew from right to left, which is opposite from, how we read English. Then you start off at the very top of the circle, and then you go counterclockwise. And all you have to do is scan the Hebrew letters. You don't have to memorize, no pronunciation. You don't have to know what they mean. You just scan it all the way around the circle. The third step is that there's an upper triangle that's listed there, and you chant a particular 4-syllable word until you feel relaxed. So remember, you bring up the sensory feelings regarding your desire or the lack of having it. You scan the outer circle counterclockwise of the Hebrew letters, and then you look at the upper triangle, and then you chant this 4-syllable word until you feel relaxed. Then you scan the genie's name that's in the middle. And this is usually written in an angelic script, as I said before. So scan the genie's name in the middle and briefly scan the sigil in the lower triangle. And then there are a bunch of words that you say. And from my knowledge, I believe that these are other intelligences that are called upon to help make this, your magic, more successful. I'm not going to read all of it here, but some of these are names of angels, too, like Michael, Gabriel, Adonai, I think is the God. Some of you who are familiar or have some familiarity with these Hebrew names, you might recognize something. If you don't worry about it. It's not important. So after you say these words of power, just a few words, then you make a call, in a sense, to the genie. And basically the call looks like is you say the name of the genie, and then you say, let's see. I'm going to give an example. So let's say we're working with the spirit or the genie, Cielo, I think it's called Cielo. So you'll say, Cielo, hear me, Cielo. It is my will that you, and you state what your will is. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you're calling them for? You do that 3 times, okay? You want to do 2 sentences or less. You don't want an entire story, but you want to do it in 2 sentences or less. What are you calling them for? And then you say, thank you, Cielo. Go in peace. So that's pretty simple, right? You say, you call the genie's name, hear me, genie's name, it is my will that you. And then you just state what your will is 3 times in 2 sentences or less. And then you say, thank you, and go in peace. The 6th step is you want to gaze at the sigil with the feeling of gratitude that your desired result has already come to be fulfilled. Okay? Maybe that's a few minutes, right? It could be 3 minutes, 2 minutes. It just depends. It's all about the feeling, not about the time. And then you chant this one last word 3 times. And again, you're gazing at the sigil with gratitude to close the ritual. And that's it. And I've had so that's the whole ritual. That's 7 steps, 7, maybe 8 steps, but basically 7 steps. You can do that within 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It just really depends. You want to focus more on the feelings, the gratitude, any part where you're just chanting until you feel more peaceful. That's going to be as long or as short as however it's going to be. But it can also be short, right? It's not like a long, drawn-out process or whatnot. And then I wanted to say that I had a conversation with the author. I actually invited him to the show, but for whatever reason he wasn't able to join, and that's okay. But I asked him. He's really open to having answering people's questions. If you look at our post in the Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group, you will notice that I set a link for a Facebook group called the Gallery of Magic. The Gallery of Magic is a set of books that were written to help make magic accessible to people for various needs and wants and whatnot. So some of it involves angels, and then some involve other things like servitors, as they call them. These are basically thought forms that you create who will accomplish deeds and tasks for you as well. It's a variety of books. And although White Spire's book isn't quite like Gallery of Magic, it's very similar to it. And it's really about his experience with the kinds of books like Gallery of Magic. Damon Brand is the well-known author of many of the Gallery of Magic books, but there are other ones. There's even one on love, healing love and certain aspects of love in your life and what have you. But anyway, I had a chat with Tristan Whitespire, and I asked him, because a lot of what he writes about in his 3 books, especially in the 84 Genies, are the ritual itself is set up to be task oriented. So that means you have a desire that you need to have filled, and the way that the ritual method is done, it focuses specifically on a task. You want something done, usually something in the material world. You want to get more money, from your job or something, or maybe an increase in pay. You want people at your job, for example, to be able to see you as, wow, this person does some great work. We really should pay them more, kind of thing. You want to grab attention. These are all real world effects, right? And so I asked him, I said, well, what about wisdom? Like, for some people, if you're clear about what you want and you know how to go about it, and you have a goal and whatnot in mind, it's really easy. It makes things easier to be able to call on the angels for that path that you're taking, and they'll probably make it happen a bit more quickly than you expect. However, sometimes we don't know. We're not clear about what we want to do. Maybe we're not even clear on our life purpose here. So I asked him, can you also just ask the angels or the genies for wisdom? And his answer was yes. He said, I built the ritual so that it's task-oriented, but you can ask them for general guidance if you don't know. There are genies and angels that deal with, I don't know what my life purpose is, and my mind is very fuzzy-brained. Is there an angel for that or a genie for that? Yes, there is. And then you can ask them for help. You just use the same ritual. You don't have to do anything different. And then you just ask them, I need you to help me to know what my life purpose here is on this planet, that kind of thing. Or know which job or career I want to take. That's it in terms of, I hope I answered your question on some level, Dax, when you were asking about the sigils and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
You can get the book and then he'll provide more information. But anyway,
there's a lot of law of attraction in there. Have you noticed?
Yes.
It's so similar with the manifesting. It's a lot of the same process and creating the focus, and especially when you talked about getting in touch with the feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And going from where you are to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other part. So like tuning into how you feel now, and then where you want to go from there.
And sometimes
go ahead.
I don't know, but sometimes that is the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we don't want, and we kind of know how we'd like to feel instead, but we don't get real specific about it. And sometimes we don't know what we want. And so that's step one, getting really crystal clear on what you want. And it takes some effort sometimes. Yeah.
And the other thing, too, Dex, and this is just within my own experience, and I'll share some experiences with you guys. Sometimes you don't have the energy. There's something going on. Like, you may be clear about what you want, and you know what you need to do to move forward, but sometimes the energy just isn't there. Well, there are angels for that as well, especially in the 84 Genies of Power. I remember I'd had so many problems getting up in the morning because I've had sleeping problems. Just I'd get 4, maybe 5 hours of sleep every night, and it's been happening for weeks now. Now I'm a bit more stable, but before it was just I was waking up tired as heck, and then I get early morning text messages and blah, 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 and it goes on. So even if I wanted to do better, let's say one time I wanted to get up and cook, but cook breakfast. I was so tired. And so the first example I'll give you is that the very first genie, if I remember correctly, in the 84 Genies of Power book, let me just open up my Kindle app here really quickly, folks. Hold on for a moment.
Let me remind everybody that we're going to be going to the phone lines shortly here. We're almost done. So this is the time to call in, folks. Get your spot now. Wrong phone number. Oh, there it is. 714-816-4628. I almost gave out the host number. 714-816-4628. Get into the caller queue now and secure your spot. We're going to take as many calls as we can. We take them in the order that they come in. 714-816-4628. We'd love to chat with you. I'm also in the chat post over at psychictalk.net/chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for that. And so the very first genie that is in the 84 Genies of Power book is called, I think it's Tarub is the pronunciation. His planet is the moon in Aries, and actually in Western astrology, my moon sign is in Aries, which is interesting. And so he can give you power and energy, focus, drive, dedicated force to do whatever it is that you need to do, to accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. And so my first experience in doing this, I have this drive. Like I did the ritual method the night before, and I got up. And even though I still was a little bit on the tired side, I had this drive. I am going to make breakfast right now. So I got up, I might have been sweating a little bit and puffing or whatever, but I had that drive and that energy to do that. So there's that. It's just a matter of what I was saying, Dax, what I'm saying is that sometimes you just need to be in tune with what it is that you're experiencing and what it is that you need. So you could even have like I said, whatever goal that you want to accomplish, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Also, you want to do an inner check, a reflection, because there may be different aspects of what you're experiencing. So maybe you don't have drive. Like you know what you want and you're excited about it. You just can't seem to find the time or don't have the drive to push it through. Then Tarab is one of the geniuses that you would call to make sure that you have that drive. And you will find that you will actually have that. That's an experience that I've had with that. With some of White Spire's other books, there's the 72 Angels of Power, as well as he also came out with a new book recently, 360 Angels of Power, which is a lot. It's a huge text. And I've had some great successes with that too. So I'll share a couple of them. We have had at my household a very mean neighbor that we've had the displeasure of knowing for the past, 15 years. We've never had this problem before. People in my neighborhood are pretty good folks. If you have an issue, and it involves, their property or whatnot, we tend to resolve it, amicably. There's no craziness going on. But with this particular neighbor, he has trees in his backyard that have completely blocked our view. And it's part of the value of our home. And so we've gone through this year, that, just 10 years of having to deal with him. He's cut them down a couple of times or whatnot, but then there's just been this other issues. Guy's really mean, and he's not a very nice person at all. And we've never had that kind of experience here. We've been here for over 40 years, and him less, much, much less. And so I called on a particular angel to help in this situation. I'm like, this guy is messing up. He's devaluing our house and blah, 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 and he's not willing to deal with his trees. He even cut off communication with us. We need some help. And so what's happened, now this isn't the the issue hasn't completely manifested what the desire is, and that's to cut the trees down or whatnot. But we found out that he's selling his house, so he's moved out of the neighborhood. We knew that he was, taking a trip or whatnot in Europe or whatnot, but he's actually selling his property. And we were like, oh, thank God. So we're happy about that. And he's still away, and we have a person, there's a person who's helping to manage the property, and we're going to have a meeting with that person about the problems that we're having. And this person is very open. We contacted them and said, yes, I'd be willing to talk to you about it and see what's going on and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean that they can necessarily control the outcome, but it looks really, really good. So this is still in the process of happening. Another example of when I've done this, and I've been, doing this a lot, at least once a week, using this angel magic. I had a meeting with, I teach at the local university, everybody, and I had a meeting with professors about a new course I'm teaching in their department. So I was very nervous about it, right? Like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. Because I hadn't really been thinking about what I was going to include in the course, but it's just been kind of, for me. And so the night before, I called on an angel of self-confidence, or a genie of self-confidence. And the next day, I was in this elated state. I was just, everything is going to be fine. If there are any issues, I'll be able to handle it. There's no problem. Energy, that feeling lasted for the whole day, even until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning the next morning. I was just feeling fantastic. And the meeting went incredibly well. So, that was more of an inner kind of thing. It's just been wonderful. Like, I've had both changes within myself and my energy levels, my emotions, and then I've also seen something manifest. Oh, by the way, I have to say this one thing because, I want to give more of a concrete example. So I asked a couple of weeks ago one of the genies. I worked with a genie called Natika. If you go to our Part 1 show, especially in the Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group, there's a sigil that I posted, and that's of Natika. And with Natika can give you riches and money and luxuries and all that kind of stuff. And so I called on Natika. I said, I really want to get $500 at the end of the week. And so this was like on a Tuesday. And so end of the week came, nothing happened. So I said, oh, well, maybe there's something else I need to do. And I just kind of forgot about it. So then 2 weeks later, I'm doing what everybody else is doing or has done in the past week, filing your taxes. And don't you know that I am actually getting money back from my taxes. Now what's weird about that is that for the past couple of years, I have been having to pay, something. But this time I'm really getting back money. And guess what? It's twice the amount that I asked for from the genie. So it might not have happened in the time frame that I was thinking, but it still happened. It was a couple of weeks later. That's not that bad. You know what I mean? So those are the examples that I wanted to give folks. And so, Dax, I know you're still there, we can move on to the calls now. So that's my whole spiel on angel sigils, everybody. Hopefully you listen to Part 1 and also listen to this one. And really, I strongly encourage you to get these books. They work. You can also add yourself to the Gallery of Magic Facebook group. There are so many people that have testimonies, and you can ask questions. You can contact some of the authors. This is magic that works, folks. So I wanted to share that with you guys.
And by the way, links to all of that, the Facebook group, on the show post, actually, for today's show. So if you're listening in archive on the show post, it's probably right there in front of you if you're listening after the show. Okay, and you guys can head over there. You'll find it under psychictalk.net/Fridays if you're not on the show post. If you're listening in archive, of course, just click archive at psychictalk.net. So, I did want to mention that we are looking for more hosts on the network. So if you've ever thought of becoming a live radio host or a pre-recorded podcaster, a videocaster, or even a network sponsor, you can do all of that. If you're on psychictalk.net, just click on where it says Become a Host or Sponsor, or go to psychictalk.net/join us. Join us. And I wanted to let everybody know, and I actually, on the upcoming shows page, I've got it listed all the way through the end of June, so you can see all of the shows coming up, folks. And that's located at psychictalk.net/upcoming. If you're already on the website, psychictalk.net, just click where it says Listen Live, and that'll take you over to the upcoming shows page as well. So tomorrow, Saturday, May 22nd, is our monthly Psychic Spin episode on Tarot Today Radio. It'll be host Mary Brown and myself, and we'll be doing open lines and tarot mini readings all show long, but we want to know what you want to know from the universe. So we'll be taking your calls and doing, tarot mini readings for, things going on in your life and life questions you have and things like that. But the big questions, things that are on everybody's mind or that you saw in the news, or, something trending, or how the universe works, or how tarot works, or, there's an infinite number of big questions. We've done all kinds of silly ones, too, like we at the end of last year, we did one on Santa and the elves. We've asked questions like, are the robots taking over? Things like that, So it's the big questions for the Psychic Spin. Yeah. You get a hold of Mary Brown or myself either through Facebook, or we actually have a post about this on thetarotguild.com where you can contact us and let us know what you want us to ask, and we'll pull tarot cards on it. And that's why we call it Psychic Spin. So the spin that the heads are always putting on the news. Well, we have the added advantage of being able to ask the universe and put a psychic spin on it. So that's tomorrow, Saturday, May 22nd. And then on Sunday, this is a really good show. Another great guest here, the Magic Universe show with host Sharona Rapsick. She's having on Julie Ulrich, and she's been a guest before. She's an animal communicator. I like to say pet psychic, but a lot of animal communicators don't like it when you say pet psychic. But she's a pet psychic. Anyway, people love this stuff. You've got to call it, get your dog or cat or parakeet or, favorite snake or turtle or whatever your pet is, get your pet and call in together on Sunday, right, Rose?
Oh wow, yeah. We've had a couple of pet psychics on our show in the past, and they were like fantastic. So this ought to be fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Oh, and I apologize. The wind is kicking up here. It probably sounds like a wind tunnel, but oh my gosh, I'm out on the patio. It's so gorgeous today, but oh my God. Every once in a while, the wind kicks up here. So Monday, May 24th, it's the Wisdom of the Soul show with Janice Fuchs, licensed clinical social worker. Our Wednesday show's on break right now, Compassionate Light, Healing, and Guidance with Catherine Hahn. She'll be back with brand new episodes in June, which is not too far away. So she's on break, but Rose and I will be back next Friday, May 28th. It's our monthly episode, the last Friday of the month. There's a mantra for that. Yes. Rose is going to be pulling out her mantras and giving us a mantra of the month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Plus open lines, of course. We'll be doing life coaching and free tarot mini readings all show long. That's right. Saturday, May 29th, Mary Brown and I will be on break. So we're taking that one off because there's like 5 Saturdays in May. Just wanted to let you know about that. So you'll find all of that at psychetalk.net/upcoming for the next week. And then, of course, all the way through the end of June, you can see all the fabulous shows coming up on the network. All righty. So we got a bunch of callers on the phone line here. Two of them are area code 415 near you. Okay. You ready, Dr. Rose?
Yeah. Did you want me to bring them on, or were you going to do that?
You could bring them on. Why don't you do that?
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Okay. I can't see the holding time, so I'll just do the first one. Hello,
Yeah,
you are on the air with Dr. Rose and Dr. Dax. This is area code 415. Can you give us your name and let us know where you're calling from? Hello? Area code 415. Okay, well, we're going to put that person back on hold.
We'll come back to them.
We'll come back. Okay, so this is area code 307. You're on the show with Dax and Rose. Welcome to the show, and let us know your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm calling from Wyoming.
Hi, Alyssa. Welcome to the show. Let us know what would you like to talk about. What's your burning question?
I have just been having a really rough time and a lot of changes, I guess, and I'm not really good with change. And there's been tons and tons of changes, and I changed my life around, and I was ready for all the changes that came with that, but now it seems like I lost, I've been looking for a place to live. I'm currently staying in a hotel, and I was just, I guess, wondering if things are going to get back on track, and if you guys knew why all this stuff is happening to me.
Okay, it's interesting too because my card of the day today was the Five of Cups, which is literally the crying over spilt milk card, and the number 5 is talking about change. And so I just, in the interest of time, I didn't do the card of the day and the numerology of the day like I normally do. But you can read the article right there on the Tarot Guild website, everybody. So just go to thetarotguild.com and click on articles. It should be the first one. Change is good. The Tarot and Numerology for Friday, May 21st, 2021, the Five of Cups card. So, in the card, the 5 cups have spilt, and he's looking down at that, and it's traditionally a card of disillusionment and sorrow and grief and broken relationships, the need to start again, self-knowledge, sacrifice, unused talents, letting go, all that kind of thing. But all he has to do is turn around and see that he still has 2 upright cups that are full.
Yeah.
And the energy today is from the day, the 21st, reduces to 3. So that's the 3 vibration, creativity and communication, and the entire date reduces to 4, which is structure, plans, foundations, and so forth like that. So, this card, when you get it, you look at it, and it's one of those 5 cards in tarot that people don't like to show up because they look negative, but there's no such thing as a negative card in tarot. There's a spectrum of meaning, and that's why I titled this Change is Good. Because no matter the feelings you're having right now over the situation and the different changes and everything happening, it's actually opening a door for you. It's opening a door to bring something better in,
Okay, I kind of thought that, but...
And, like I say in the article, okay, that the emotions that you're dealing with now with the 5 of Cups, and by the way, I love how our first call, Rose, just dovetails nicely into the card of the day and everything like that. These are thoughts there's thoughts in your mind. They have no actual intrinsic reality. You can let go of these things. And there's various ways of working on that. Emotional freedom technique is a great one to use to release negative feelings. But, I'm of the thought lately that the way to quash a lot of this is to just shift your focus. It's like, okay, these changes are happening. I'm not happy about some of this stuff. Okay, well, how would you rather feel? What do you want to bring in?
I would like to find a place to live.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's boil this. Yeah, and so, this is just, I haven't even drawn any cards yet. I'm just doing some basic life coaching where if you can take out a piece of paper and write down how you'd rather feel, what that involves, what that would require, and get crystal clear about what you want to draw in and set the intention and the focus on that. That's going to quash a lot of the negative feelings, and it'll tell the universe that this is what you want to draw in. Right now, you're just like the Five of Cups. You're focused on those 3 cups that have spilt their contents, and you're not paying attention to the 2 upright cups behind you. And whatever we put our attention on, we draw in. So, it's going to be a vicious cycle of the same feelings and everything unless you shift your focus. We call it reframing in neurolinguistics. You want to reframe the situation. But let's boil it down to some questions that we could ask the tarot real quick here. What do you really want to know? You mentioned about moving.
Actually, I would like to know if I'm going to remain where in the city that I'm living in now, or if you see a move farther away.
Okay. Now, see, that's a good one. Okay. Okay, so let me pull the cards. Here. Okay. Oh, this is looking really good. I'm definitely getting the strong vibe that you're going to move to a completely different city.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Do you know?
And there's a lot of. Hold on. Let me tell you the whole thing before we do anything else.
Okay.
Because this is real. This is really fascinating. What's coming up in the cards? It's also giving you advice and so forth. And I did a 5-card yes/no spread and got 3 out of 5 yes. So it's definitely leaning yes. Okay, but there's still things left to do. 2 of the yes cards are major arcana cards. The Empress card, which talks about growth and development, well-being and security, and the Temperance card, which is balance and harmony, the blending of opposites, patience, having patience, diplomacy, and so forth like that. Yes. Yeah. Now, this is what's fascinating. The central focus card is, are you ready, Dr. Rose? Are you guys ready? The 5 of Cups that we were just talking about.
Oh, no. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's so weird.
So the tarot is doubling down on this, that the fact that you've got to get over this. You've got to get over the negative. You've got to make this move happen and to make things come into your life, the positive that you want and the feelings you want to feel. You got to get in touch with those feelings and a creative visualization of what that looks like. What is it? Use all 5 senses. What does it look like, smell like, sound like, taste like, feel like, everything. Yeah. And then the King of Cups shows up. And the King of Cups, he's got these, he's sitting on a stone throne, very solid. The sea is under him and around and behind him. I mean, ships are crashing on the waves, and there's fish and so forth, being thrown up out of the water, and it's total turmoil. But he's like a rock. He's like solid on there, And so what that's telling me is, in conjunction with the Five of Cups, the King of Cups is, the most emotionally stable card. And so that's what you need to work on is your emotional stability and strength behind that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does make total sense.
Yeah, and then the Two of Cups shows up, which is two individuals coming together, and it could be cooperation amongst colleagues or friends. It could also be a romance, a starting romance as well.
Hopefully it's a romance.
Say again?
Hopefully it is.
Yeah. This really looks like, someone coming in, okay? And it's interesting that it's showing up in this question about the move. So I'd have to pull a lot more cards. I don't have the time for that. We're on the radio. We got a lot of callers waiting in queue here. But let me just say that my feeling is that it's after you do the work to establish the stability of feelings, and then make the move, and then you're going to meet this person, and that's what's going on.
Okay, great. Yeah, cool.
I hope that helped you out. We got to move on to other callers, but
thank you very much. God bless.
Have a great weekend, Alyssa.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alyssa.
So, Dr. Rose, did you want to try that 415 again, see if they're ready now?
Okay. So, area code 415, you are now on the show with Dex and I. Could you please give us your name and let us know where you're calling from?
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Hi.
show.
Sorry, I was doing laundry, so I must have been away.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. No problem. What's your name? What's your name, and where are you calling from?
This is Anne, and used to be from San Francisco, and now Washington State.
Oh, cool. Hey, San Francisco. That's
cool.
My neck of the woods. I'm in Berkeley.
Yeah, I just moved less than a week ago.
Oh, wow. That was soon. Cool. Okay. I'm glad you're still in the West. The West is the best.
Always.
That's just my personal
Always.
feel.
Yeah. Born and raised.
So what question do you have for us, or what would you like to talk about?
I'd like to get a reading just about kind of my first job here, and not really a time. I don't need a timeline, but just kind of ways to break in. I've never really found jobs that traditional way, LinkedIn and things, or Indeed and things like that, but just anything about jumping in job-wise.
Okay. Oh, we got a lot of job kind of cards coming up, like the Eight of Pentacles.
Woo-hoo.
8 is abundance in numerology. And, there you are, hard at work.
Oh, the 8?
Yeah.
The 8 of Swords?
No, the
Or
8
wands,
of Pentacles.
I mean? Pentacles. Oh, great.
Coins. Yeah, right next to it's the Sun card. So, and the Star card. I mean, this stuff is looking really, really fantastic. Really fantastic. There's a couple of things that it's hinting at, though. It's bookend by the Page of Cups on one side, which could be a positive message coming through pretty soon on the job front. And it's bookend with that on the one side, then all the way on the other side is the Magician card. So, literally you actually are the person that makes this happen,
Right.
So,
all right.
Yeah, and what I'm getting also from the Page of Cups along with the Magician, Cups is emotions, and it's what's going to be emotionally satisfying for you. So it's not giving specific. It's not giving specific advice along the lines of this job and how to break into that job or something like that. What it's saying instead is that you're asking the wrong question. What
it's
really
about
should
what's
be,
underneath it all, it looks like.
Yeah. What you need to be doing is you need to be focusing on what you want, not just because you need to get the job and make the money. Forget about that for right now. What kind of working situation do you want to be in? What does that look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, sound like? All five senses. Yeah, just like with the first caller, a complete five-sensory visualization of what's your daily working, like. I mean, are you working from home remotely on a computer? Are you in a cubicle in a building somewhere? Are you traveling from destination to destination in your car? What's going on? And focus in on what's going to be emotionally fulfilling for you, not what the job, or any particular, just any old random job out there. Let's not be random about this. Let's find the
that was never my
thing
intention
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you want to do.
My past job was more. I only liked parts of it, and it was more the money job. So I'm over that. I don't want to. I'm not going to repeat that. So.
Right. So you want to write down on a piece of paper the things you did like about your last job, other things that, write down the opposite of the things you didn't like. Think about what you didn't like, and then what's the exact opposite of that, and then write that down. Write only positive things, and write down your dream working situation. Like my dream working situation is what I'm doing. I work from home on my computer, and I decide when to start and stop. I decide how many hours I'm going to put in. I complete control. That's what I like. Some people don't like that. Some people need a structure. So it's dependent on what you want and what you would be happy with in a working situation. That's going to get the ball rolling, and then you can get more specific, things that you're really passionate about that really make your eyes light up. Things that you got to think outside the box, things that you would never think of applying for or doing, or creating yourself, creating your own business as an entrepreneur. So that's where you start, writing this stuff down, and then you'll get to that point where you know how you want to be working. Now, what is it that you're working on? And that's dependent on that should be focused more on your passions, what you're passionate about, problems you can solve for other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
And so, Page of Cups, could that be also like new friends, or can you connect both? Like, could it be a romance coming in, or?
Well, it can be, although normally if it's something like that, just like with the previous caller, I'll get the Two of Cups come up or
with it, right.
A similar card. Yeah, typically the pages by themselves, they could be messages coming through, but it's about learning.
Like the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, mastery.
Learning or teaching and mastery. Yeah, so it may require you to learn a little bit. You may go through this process and decide, okay, I don't want to work the way I've been working before. I want to work this way, and this is what I'm passionate about, and I want to solve this big problem for people, which creates value. That's how you make the energy exchange in the form of money. And then you look at your skills and abilities, and if you're lacking in anything, you just take a course. That's what the Page of Cups is about. Any of the pages, especially the pages of Wands, but any of the pages are about learning. And it's so easy nowadays. Everything is available. You want to learn something, you type it into YouTube. It's the second largest search engine on the planet. There's a video for everything. And then you go to websites like Udemy and you buy a course for $9.99 and you study up on the skills you need. Yeah, it doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can actually figure out what's in alignment with your values and your passions, and just, what big problem can I solve for somebody else? You don't even need to go to work for another company. And I'm not dissuading you. If people are just born that way, that's the way they function. They need structure, especially Life Path 4, so people that are in the military and the police and, certain other jobs that relate like that, they need this structure. And a lot of folks, feel more secure that way. But real value and real following your passion, you kind of have to do it on your own. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to create a product or service that solves a big problem for somebody else.
Yeah, and the star, is that just like a wish upon a star, but what else does the star mean about getting what you're looking for, or, how you get what you wish for, I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and the star card is great whenever it shows up because it's the card of hope. And what it's relating is, again, on the emotional level. In fact, there's a lot of water being poured and things going on in that card, so it's dealing with the element of water, and which is emotions. And so it's talking about patience, number one, but it's also about, let's see, how do I put that? It's kind of keeping the faith.
Oh, okay.
It's about fuels everything. Well, emotions fuel all manifestation, and optimism is what fuels in the initial aspects of growth. It's about maintaining the optimism that's going to drive you through any hurdles you have to get over as you are figuring this process out, going through the process and figuring out what it is you actually want to be doing career-wise.
All right, great. Thank you.
All right.
It all looks good. I just have to finish unpacking, the fun part.
That's true, too. And after you go through some of the process, call us back on a Friday or a Saturday and let us know what happened, and maybe you have new questions by then.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All righty. Thank
you for calling in.
Thanks for the call.
Okay. We have one more call, and this is from area code 801. Hi, you're on the air with Jackson Rose. Can you give us your name and let us know where you're calling from?
Hey, it's my friend Jackson Rose. This is Charlotte from
Charlotte.
Utah.
I recognize that voice. How you doing, Charlotte?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I love the show today. That was so interesting. But I have to admit that, there are so many options out there, for help and whatever, that I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. I want to try it. And then I think, really? Can you add one more thing to your spiritual plate right now?
I know what you mean.
You explained it so well, and you made it sound so easy and effective. And I'm just like, oh, I really want to try that. But I'm starting to be jack of all trades, master of none, and that's not getting me anywhere in a hurry.
I feel you. I'm the same way.
Here's what I recommend for that, because this is something I've thought about for a long time. I've read many a book on spiritual practices, magic, and all this kind of stuff over several years. This is a few decades now. I'm not too old, but I would say maybe at least 25 years. And I've tried out many things. And what I'm really up to now is what works. Like, I have the Vedic practices and chanting mantras, and those do work. But there's something that I really enjoy about the angel sigil magic. It's simple. It's, results-oriented, or at least task-oriented. And it still is a part of what I love the most, and that's working with divine beings, whether they're inside of you or if you think of them as being in a different realm. That's what I enjoy about it. And I think at some point it's very possible I might end up combining the two, like maybe using some of the same techniques in some of the Vedic practices that I've learned. That would be my own thing there, but my own creation. But no, I understand what you mean, and it's the great thing about this. And I'm not saying that this is what you should do, but different things call to different people, right? Like the guru that I follow with the Vedic practices. Oh my God, how many gods and goddesses has he talked about? And I'm like, when I was early in his teachings, like there's no way I could possibly all of these mantras. Like I'd probably vibrate off the face of the planet if I tried to do all of that. And who has the time, right?
But I love you so much, Dr. Rose. I swear, you and I are kindred spirits. And there's another reason why, but I'll tell you after you finish telling what you're saying.
Sure. So, but what one thing that he did say is that the reason why he gives out so many mantras and talks about so many gods and goddesses, and we even have different celebrations of different spiritual kind of like holidays or time period. We call them power times. The reason why he gives all that information out is that different things appeal to different people. So it's not that, like some people will say Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, is all I care about. I love Ganesha. There's a connection there for them. Or Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance and wealth. I really love her, and there's a connection there for them. So it's just really choosing what you feel called to. Angel sigils or sigil magic, that's a particular calling for certain people. I mean, like there are a lot of things that I hear that are interesting, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Now, whether or not I will actually do anything about it is a whole separate issue. There are a lot of cool practices out there, a lot of great practices that get you results, but it's really about choosing what works for you, what you feel called to, and what you think is going to work for you. For me, the angel sigil power, because I've been reading about this for a while before, probably at least the past couple of years before I actually started to do something to actual practice it. But it's so easy, and it works within weeks for me, whereas just the traditional route of not even calling on anything, it would probably take months to maybe years. So it really fits me. The practice itself actually fits me in my schedule because, sometimes when I get up in the morning, I'm up and running. I don't have a lot of time to do a long, 30-minute, 45 minutes, an hour or whatever practice. I just don't have that time. That's a luxury that I don't have at the moment. So what I like are short rituals, and there are Vedic rituals that are short too. It's the same thing, short, potent rituals that are going to help get me to where I want to go. And that's what it's all about. There's so much out there that's lovely and wonderful. Like, oh my God, if I looked at my Udemy courses, they're like over 40 courses.
Yeah.
I'd have trained myself to stop buying them after a while. Yeah, I have a lot of interest, but there are certain things that I am going to hone in on. And then you can hone in on this at different points. Charlotte, like now it could be angel sigil magic for you. Maybe a couple of months from now you said, you know what, okay, I'm good with that. I'm going to do a Vedic practice, or I'm going to, delve more into my crystals. I think it's okay to navigate that. You don't have to be a master of everything that you're interested in. Think of it as rather, because, we come from a generation where you choose one thing and you focus on that one thing. Same with jobs. You choose one job, and then that job will give you your security and blah, blah, blah. That's over and done with. That went out in about our generation thing. There are people now who have multiple jobs and whatnot. So that same kind of thinking you do not have to bring into your spiritual practice. It's really about what works for you at a given moment in time. So if this is something you want to do, the Angel Sigil of Magic, then do it. If it's not, if it's just like, oh, I'd love to read about it occasionally, but it's not something I'm going to put into practice, then don't worry about it. It's quite all right.
Yeah, no, I probably will end up trying it, but I am so like you, and because I'm not a morning person, and I've just recently gotten a new, for right now, kind of part-time job, which will be part of my question, but I find myself on the way to to work going, Archangel Michael, cut all the negative cords, bubble me quick.
Yeah.
and Raphael, my knees are bugging the heck out of me today. Please infuse them with your emerald, and I mean, it's just like, that's what I'm doing on the way to work. I mean, obviously I'm not closing my eyes or anything like that, but I'm just, but yeah. But then when you talked about your mean neighbor who is moving, my mean neighbor is finally moving, I think. There are things still under contract, but I've noticed they're slowly moving things out of their house. And
oh, good. Okay.
Geez, Rose and I are living parallel lives. Holy smokes. And then, I think we have always been that way from the beginning. We've had a lot of similarities, but I don't want to take up too much time yakking about that. But so here's my question, probably for Dax, because he helped me with this in a private session about my job. But right now it's part-time. It's been part-time for a little bit longer than I had planned on. Do you see that picking up? Do you see my hours picking up, the income picking up sometime in the near future, please? And then my second thing
is... Interesting. It's interesting. I was going to ask you how your job was going.
I love it. It's the perfect job for me. It's most people would probably be bored out of their gourd, but and this is not an Oprah or anything, but I literally have no cartilage in either of my knees, and that's another thing I need to work on to get to the point where I can actually have those fixed. But it's a driving job, and because I live in a rural, I basically live next door to the National Forest and Bureau of Land Management, and so every day I'm driving down to the river. I'm being driven down to the river where people leave their vehicles. I pick up their vehicle, drive it to the places they're going to take out of the river. These are for river runners. And so I get to go to all these beautiful places, every day I work. And it's sitting, so it's not hurting my knees. It is. And I work with some pretty great people. So really, I could not be more grateful if I tried for this job. The thing that would make it better was if the hours pick up, and I'm hoping, once the season picks up fully. I mean, like today we're getting wind and rain, and people that have their permits to put on their river, and they're not going to give up the permits because it's a draw system. They give out 300 permits, and they get like 16,000 permits, and only 300 of them get selected. So if you get a crap day like today where the wind's blowing like crazy and it's raining, you still have to put on the river and start your trip.
Ah.
Crazy,
hey,
right?
So what's the second part? Because I already drew cards and I want to get going on this. But let's see if it has anything.
I think might be more for Rose, and that is
good.
About self-confidence, about really about self-confidence, and because I find myself falling back into the old me that I've worked really hard to move away from, which is, and I mean, it's a long story. It's a, mother-daughter, thing that falls back to, nobody's going to like me. I'm going to inadvertently do something that's going to irritate somebody. And then, so I need to clear that from me. So whether it's one of the angel sigils that you talked about today, or whether it's a mantra or whatever. So that's my second part. So kind of together, but kind of separately too. So whichever one
Dax
wants
can
to
go ahead
first.
and do the first. Yeah, do the first. Was it the reading? I think that you pull the cards, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the question was, are her hours going to increase? Well, yes, but maybe not the way you think it's going to happen. Anyway, so Charlotte, this is one of those rare times when you get 5 yeses out of 5. I mean,
wow,
it almost never happens.
Wow.
It's a very, very strong yes, and I think you brought up confidence, and I think that's part of why it's so strong is to give you the confidence that it is going to get better as far as getting more hours, making more income, and so forth like that. But it might not be exactly the way you think, all right? So I'm getting a lot of 4 cards. I got the 4 of Wands on one end, and I got 4 of Swords on the other. So it's bookending the reading with the 4s. And, 4 is structure, plans, foundations. It's establishing a plan. It's establishing a foundation for this to happen. Now, it can happen as quickly as 4 days, or it could take 4 weeks, 4 days to 4 week period that the shift can happen. The Empress card is the central focus, which is a card of growth. And let's see here. I had something I was going to say about that, and now I forgot. But the number, it'll come to me. But the number 3 is creativity and communication. So the key to this seems like the tarot is saying it's all about communication, how you communicate that you want more hours, and being creative with it, and with it being bookended by the 2 4 cards. Remember, 4 is structure. It's also, think of a box, 4 cube. It's thinking outside of the box. These are some of the thinking outside of the box cards. Yeah, especially the 4 of Swords, because in that card, there's recharging going on, stepping back, letting go, and thinking outside of the box. Swords are thoughts and ideas. And so you might have to think outside the box a little bit here. How can you increase your out? It might not be exactly like you're doing what you're doing, right, with this part-time job, and you're thinking about increasing the hours within the scope of the job, whereas the hours may actually come from something on top of this that is almost doing the same thing, still driving people around. It's still, you're getting to sit in your car and not have to walk and use the knees and so forth, but it's not doing exactly the same thing, but it may evolve out of the same group of people that you're working with, you see. And and it's something unexpected. The Tower card shows up. And so, it's like, whoops, the plans are dashed. Well, I think it's not as bad as it looks. It's not saying that the way you're planning on increasing your hours and income is not really how it's going to happen. And it's going to require a shift in foundation. The Tower card is a shift in foundation. It's changing beliefs. It's doing it a different way kind of thing. And then the Two of Swords is showing up, which is a card of balancing and also deciding, making decisions. There's like two paths in front of you, which you may or may not see at this point. And it's, you need to make the decision and go down one of those paths.
Okay.
Yeah, so the answer, it's looking really positive. We got 5 yes cards.
Yeah.
The exact how is not so clear. It's going to take time. You got to sit down and think outside the box a little bit. How can I increase my hours? What else can I do that's, a similar job, but and may even involve the group that you're working with now, but not doing exactly the thing you're doing day to day with the part of the part-time job that you're actually doing now. So that's going to take some time to think about.
Right. Well, I've already kind of started wondering if I can't, kind of sneak in my crystals and my cards and stuff with, the people that I work with and then the people that they know and whatnot, because these are some pretty open people. We're not talking irregular 9-to-5ers that have this job. And, in fact, I had an interesting conversation with a gal about Moldavite the day before yesterday, one of the other drivers. So maybe that's where that's going. I don't know.
It could be. My gut feeling, though, it is something to do with driving, not about your other business. And it doesn't have to be an either or. It's not like you can't try that too. It's just another added layer on this. But think along the lines of the driving and start thinking outside the box. And like I said, this is gonna take a few days for you to figure out what this means. But let's go to Dr. Rose.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure at all what it means right now. But like you said, you plant the seed in your head and you let it grow and you let it stew around, and then like a little data tape, it finally spits the answer out. So that's what I will be working for. So thank you for that.
That is certainly true. And, again, there's an angel for that. We did another show. There's an angel for that. There's a mantra for that. So in answering your question about self-confidence, this is really interesting because 2 angels popped up. I think one refers more to your situation in some way than the other. But this comes from, this angel is called, genie, is called Tabriz. And it represents like the sacral chakra, which is really interesting because the sacral chakra sometimes has to deal with that kind of confidence and things of that nature. So here's what it says about Tabriz. And this is out of the 84 Genies of Power book, by the way. When we are caught up with worrying about how to please others and how to ensure we can please everyone, we can never fulfill our true will. It is nearly impossible to live our true will, chase our dreams, and follow our passions without stepping on toes. If a desire to please others and live in harmony is preventing you from doing what you desire to do, call on Tabriz. She has the power to make you resolute, determined, and focused on fulfilling your will in all things. This doesn't make you a jerk or uncaring. This makes you like a warrior's arrow, slicing through the air towards its target. You don't set out to hurt anyone, but neither are you overly afraid of offending those who stand in your path. To breathe has the power to erase timidity and the tendency to be worried about, quote, rocking the boat. She gives us the power to stand up for ourselves, to feel free to do what we want to do and be who we want to be. This is an act of love for ourselves. For how can we love or help others if we don't love and help ourselves first? In this sense, to breathe can also give us self-confidence and self-assurance. I think you ought to take a look into that because that applies to any area of life.
I love that, Angel. Will you spell that for me or type it into the chat or something?
Yes, I will. And then the other thing, too, I wanted to...
Rose, I was... let me break in for a second because I had already had a thought on that, and what I was going to say was, can you scan that and the sigil, what it looks like, and maybe send it on Messenger to Charlotte?
Yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. And then one of the things I wanted to tell people, just incidentally, because I have the only criticism that I have about White Spire's books, and it's a very light criticism, is that there is no index in the back. So it's not like you can go to an index in the back on love and come up with a list of names for the angels. He doesn't have that in his book. So I actually have, because I like both a hard copy of a book and I also have a Kindle app as well. So if you want to purchase just the Kindle version and still use the Angel Magic, you can do that. It's not impossible to do. It still works. Sigils are sigils. It doesn't matter if it's on paper, physical paper, or if it's on your cell phone. It's going to work either way. But in the meantime, I will send that information to you, Charlotte, via Messenger, or do you want me to post? We were talking about sending it on Messenger, I think. I think that's a better thing to send, to do.
Yeah. Messenger's great. Yeah. And
so,
the other thing, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead, Charlotte, go ahead.
Oh, no, because it's, totally different because, for the summer and into fall, my schedule will be erratic, but in come winter, I will have more time, and I would love to come back to Psychic Talk.
Ooh.
And so something to think about. I would love to come back and be part of your weekly lineup.
Awesome sauce. One thing I'd like to say to you, Charlotte, and this is for everybody, because I know I go through this in my mind as well in terms of how things are going to, be and be about. Remember that there is a genie or an angel for everything, all the issues that you might be dealing with. If you feel like you have a lack of time or focus, energy, drive, clarity, whatever it is, you can call on that being, and that road will open up for you. I want you and everybody else to start thinking about really how do you want to live your life. Now, I'm not saying go and and quit your job right now unless you have money to to hang in on there yet. But because it's okay to have a job to get to where you're going. That's a stepping stone. It's just like everything else, right? But I want you to start envisioning what it is, like the life that you would really love to live. Write that down. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What is it like for you? When you get up in the morning, how do you feel? When you're going about your day, how do you feel? I really want you to get clear on what that is. Now, it's been a work in progress for me as well. And then I want you to start, when you can see that or you can feel that, what that looks like. Even look up pictures on Google or something like that, the house that you want to be in. I want you to start working towards that. If you decide to do Angel Sigil Magic, start working towards that. Okay, what do you think you need to get in order to have that lifestyle? Not just the money part. The money part we know is there, and the business that you want to have, and that's cool. Those are, more hardcore things. But also think about, do you have any fears? Like we were talking about the self-confidence. Do you have, like me, for example, scheduling, like I can do a schedule when I have to do something, but scheduling my whole week, if I have a lot more free flow, more than likely I don't get a lot of what I want to get done, only the things that I have to get done. And I have to get out of that mode of thinking, right? I need to start scheduling. And there's actually, it's not in the, I'm not saying the 84 Genies of Power doesn't have this, but I think I found it either in the 72 Angels or the 360 Angels, one of those other books that Whitespire has written. And there's actually one that helps you to organize your life. That's what I was looking for. I was like, I need to organize my life.
Yes.
Is there an angel for that? Yes, there is. So I wanted to let you guys know that start thinking about those kinds of things. Like, what is it that you need to get to this life? Your business is doing great, or the job, or how you want to move up, whatever. That's pretty clear. But what are some of the other things that you see going on, like internally? I'm not structuring my life in a way that for success. Okay, or maybe it's subconscious thinking. I still have these old thoughts. So maybe I need to help my mind with that. Well, there are angels and genies for that too, that can help program your mind for success. I mean to tell you, his books are fantastic, and I'm so glad to be in contact with the author, and that he's very open to talk about any issues or problems. Like, he just wants people's lives to change, and he's very open to answering questions and things of that nature. And he does so a lot of times in the Gallery of Magic book. So that's why I'm saying, get your dream life set, and then start also listening to areas that you really need help with, and go to those books and find them. And again, you can do the electronic version, because Kindle books tend to be cheaper. If you want to get the physical, that's great. If that's what you're more into. I do the Kindle. I have both of them. That way, in the Kindle version, you can search for things. In the physical book, if you only have that, you have to go through all of the angels to find what you're looking for. That's too much work for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I have the Kindle version.
Actually, that is perfect, because like half of what I do is then in a van being shuttled, to where we're going to pick up, and then again shuttled back to town after we've dropped the vehicles off where they go. So, right now I've been doing books on, audiobooks, and I actually downloaded some videos onto my phone, but I could just as easily read this book, so that's excellent.
Yeah, and you can do it in the in-between time. I know I've had that experience, too. Like, a lot of times I'll wake up in the morning and I'm going through Facebook just aimlessly. And then I said, you know what, if you were to just take 15 minutes out of that and read some more about the different angels and take note. And I've been taking notes about what things do I really want to change in my life. That's going to make a huge difference. So, just a few minutes out of your schedule to whatever, if you want to read about something or watch something that's inspirational, take that time out. Everything doesn't have to be about work,
right.
Or just the things that you're doing. Take some time out for yourself and really tune in, and especially anything that's going to help you get to your ultimate goal. And the great thing about all of this that we have talked about, and that I shared today and in other shows as well as Dax, this is to help things to be more smoothly for you. Not that this will take 9, 10, 40 years for you to get. We don't live in that kind of consciousness anymore. We don't, things can happen a lot more quickly for you, maybe a matter of weeks as opposed to years. That's a huge difference,
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And it will feel very natural. It's not like all of a sudden you have this clarity of mind, I am one with the universe and that's great and all, but it will kind of happen for you. It's just really interesting that way. It's almost as if it's natural, like, oh, wow, okay. It's not like, all of a sudden there was a storm and then a bright light. And those are great, but it'll be like turning on a switch. You walk into a room, you hit the switch. It's that easy.
Yeah, it's
hopefully part of that. Oh, I'm sorry, Charlotte. I was just going to say, hopefully part of that is you coming back on the network. We'll still be here.
I hope so too. I miss you guys so much.
Yeah.
And perhaps sooner than later.
Well, it will be, winter, because honestly, this job is, and I knew it going in, the schedules are, it's never going to be a set schedule. It's just going to be,
right.
You only know, in some cases, only the day before if you're going to work. And then, and that's also, I just live every day as though I'm going to get called into work. And that's okay. There's, it's not like.
Well, we're glad you were off today, and
me too. Because
as
usual, you guys have left me feeling energized again, and my energy it took a huge dip yesterday. It was crazy. I'm like, why? What is going on? And I could not pinpoint. I still don't know what was going on yesterday, but I was in about the lowest rut, and but now talking to you guys and just have been given like some direction and some tools to start working on again. My energy meter has popped back up where it needs to be, and so I just thank you guys for that. And that's what I love about this program and about you. I mean, seriously, you guys are beautiful people. And I just...
Thanks, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. I feel really lucky.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you'll get hours on the weekend. And we got to get going here. We're way past the end of the show.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you so much for calling in, Charlotte, and feel free to call us again. All right, that seems to be it for now. Bye. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And that's for everybody.
Awesome. Yes, don't forget, I'll be on tomorrow, though, with Mary Brown. We'll be doing our psychic spin. And then you and I will be back with There's a Mantra for That on Friday, May 28th, next Friday. We'll see everybody then. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, Rose.
Bye, Dax. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful, blessed week. We'll see you next Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.